I was talking the whole, I was on mute. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all, me, but thank you so much for your patience. Let's get into it. Flapping my chops. So, y'all, they are not pressing charges in the Shanquella Robinson case. This is hot off. Not be pressing charges. They say they will Shanquella Robinson case. And this is based on them citing. They don't have enough evidence to prosecute any of the members of the Cabo. So with this particular case, it's shocking that they say the world gathered very, very, very strong receipts that I think withstand the evidentiary threshold. So guys, CBS EST, so a few hours ago on the East Coast, that prosecutors in the United States will not bring charges of Shanquella Robinson to death. And I'm going to scroll down to the pertinent parts. So the investigation to the circumstances surrounding the death of Ms. Robinson has been a priority for federal prosecutors. Office for the Western District of North Carolina. As in every case under consideration, a reasonable doubt that a federal crime was committed. It continued, based on a review of the investigative materials by the U.S. Attorney's Office, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson support of federal prosecution. I call cap before I even finish reading the article. And an autopsy conducted by the medical examiner's office in North Carolina evidence does not support a federal prosecution. Oh, wait, guys, I was over there reading articles. You guys said I was breaking up? Okay, well, hold on. Let me see. Let me see if this helps with me just. Can you guys hear me now? Has the sound? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear, or a 2 if you can't hear me at all, if I'm still cutting in and out? I'm still breaking up. Oh, I'm gonna refresh. Give me 30 seconds. Hey, jury family, everything on the back end. Is the sound still bad? It's been breaking up since the beginning. Okay. Oh, they're right by those poles. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get on my tablet. Hold on, jury family. I'm converting over to my tablet. Hey, Joy. So, hey, jury family, can you guys hear me now? Is it still an echo, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Okay, you guys can't hear me now? Okay, awesome. Give me 1 second. Let me turn off the volume on my other device so it won't do a back play, and then we'll keep it going. Okay, jury family, can you guys hear me? Is the sound better? I think I got everything worked out. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Thank you. And y'all, please pardon me. I'm on my tablet, so it's on my desk in case you hear papers, or if it's too loud, let me know and I can adjust the sound. And let's just do everything from the top. I was going to pre-record this video. I tried 3 times and it just wouldn't pre-record. So I said, I got to come live. Nothing can stop me when I want to get it out there. Okay, Miss Clark said there's an echo. Do you guys still hear an echo? Okay, guys, do y'all hear an echo now? Is it better? Okay, so no echo. All right, perfect. So y'all, back from the top. Y'all, I feel like I've tried to record this 3 times, and y'all see we just had to go through so much to get the live going. So thank you so much for your patience as I bring you breaking news coverage on this case with Miss Shanquella Robinson. So it has been reported that the prosecutors in North Carolina, the U.S. attorneys will not be pressing charges. Will not be pressing charges. And they're citing a lack of evidence, and they say they don't have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's already they're already been facetious. That is hogwash. There's ample evidence. So guys, I want to get into everything from the top. So y'all, let's go over the article from CBS that reported this about 3:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today on April 12th. And I'm gonna share the screen, guys, so we can go over the article together. So CBS is reporting that the U.S. authorities will not pursue charges in the death of Ms. Shanquella Robinson. So prosecutors in the United States will not bring charges in what was previously a federal investigation into the death of Shanquella Robinson, a woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, while in Mexico last October. Officials with U.S. Attorney's offices in 2 districts in North Carolina announced the decision in a statement on Wednesday, issued shortly before the woman's family members were scheduled to speak about the probe and Robinson's killing at a televised news conference. Sorry, guys, it's a loud motorcycle going past. The investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Ms. Robinson has been a priority for federal prosecutors, and the FBI read the statement issued by the U.S. attorneys. So look at the lies, because they said that this investigation was a priority for federal prosecutors and the FBI, when we know that social media, we had to force them to be interested in this case. We had to force them to even give it mainstream media attention. It was viral before the mainstream media picked it up, and the mainstream media only repeated the same talking points and pieces of data and evidence that social media content creators and people on Twitter was able to extrapolate from the Cabo 6 social media presence and people adjacent to the Cabo 6. So going further, they say, as in every case under consideration for federal prosecution, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a federal crime was committed. It continued, based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both U.S. attorneys' offices, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support federal prosecution. A video with the woman being brutalized, beaten, people who schemed and scammed grieving parents or attempted to defraud and scam grieving parents out of thousands of dollars. in the state of an emergency, making misrepresentation to federal authorities, colluding to cover up all of their malfeasance back in Mexico. This is all, these are crimes. So I don't know how the prosecutors somehow just can't, they never seem to know what charges to apply when a Black woman is a victim. This is so disheartening. It is absolutely disheartening. And I feel like if they wanted to say it's too difficult, it's too cumbersome, but to say they don't have enough evidence when we all saw a myriad of evidence, a plethora, that's disingenuous. Or just, if I'm frank, they're just lying. So citing a detailed and thorough investigation, and we know that's not true. And I want to get to the last paragraph, so give me 1 second. Let me scroll down. Okay, so Mexican prosecutors opened an investigation into Robinson's death a few days earlier. By then, news of her death had garnered considerable public and global attention, owing to a viral cell phone video that showed Robinson being violently assaulted, apparently at the luxury villa where she was staying while on vacation. She had traveled from the U.S. to Mexico with a group of friends, the Cabo Six, as we call them, and let me see, and some of whom initially told Robinson's parents that she died from alcohol poisoning. So see, that lie right there is delaying justice, that delayed an autopsy. And once someone passes away, every second matters. So that's obstruction of justice. That's another charge within itself. And this article says, however, the death certificate later listed a spinal and neck injury as the cause. Now, what's interesting, this article says, and I'm going to put it on the screen, even though the death certificate listed it as the cause, the attorney for Shanquella Robinson's family said that wasn't the cause. The attorney for Robinson's family said on Wednesday that the U.S. autopsy did not identify a spinal cord injury, although she called it disheartening. So that's another discrepancy. That's the first time I've heard that, because all the U.S. reports and, the visuals and everything, the death certificate, autopsy reports that we have show that it was what do they call it? The spinal, not laceration. I'm sorry, medical professionals, pardon me for butchering the description, but basically an internal fracture of the neck. So with this case, guys, what's most problematic, or what's most disturbing, is I think they're being disingenuous to say that it's a lack of evidence, because of course, the United States cannot charge the Cabo Six with deletion, but they can charge them with the conspiracy to cover up the crime, because they continue to carry on the masquerade of lies, the entire disguise, all while on United States territory. And also obstruction of justice, because you're obstructing justice when you delay justice. So lying about the mechanism of injury was ultimately something that delayed justice, because if her parents are thinking, alcohol poisoning, that's not something that some people may or may not get an autopsy for. But with the mechanism of injury coming out, changing stories, that delayed justice even further. So now CBS is saying for the first time in this whole case that the U.S. autopsy didn't show a spinal injury. Well, that's what the attorney for the Robinson family said, Ms. Sue Robinson. But that is contradictory to the death certificate and the Mexican police report. and medical reports that were released. So also another area that U.S. federal prosecutors are ignoring are the fiduciary crimes. So y'all remember they called and attempted to do the transactional fraud with Mr. and Miss Shanquella Robinson's parents and they asked for thousands of dollars, which puts it in the territory of grand larceny. And grand larceny in the laws is just a fancy way to say it's felonious now. And also, there is no word on the credit card fraud because they never clarified that these individuals, the Cabo Six, continue to use Shanquella's credit cards and various articles, money, and things like that once they return to the United States of America. So, and then, you have the impeding the investigation. That's a big one because there was Cabo Six made everything hard about this case because they concocted, such a whirlwind mental gymnastics story, and everyone had different narratives. So again, that's impeding the investigation, another felonious charge that could be applied. So with this case, guys, it appears that North Carolina federal prosecutors have dropped the ball. And they put out a statement. I'll put the statement in the community tab, but I want to read a paragraph out of the statement, and I'll put it up on the screen also. From the U.S. Attorney's Office. So with the U.S. Attorney's Office, they released a statement today on Wednesday, April 12th. And I want to get to it says, based on the results of the autopsy and after careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both the U.S. attorneys, federal prosecutors nope, that's not the part. Wait, it's one more. Okay, so this is the line, and I want you guys to look at this line. It says, however, given the circumstances of Miss Robinson's death, and the public concern surrounding this investigation, it is important to reassure the public that experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that federal charges cannot be pursued. And that's the second paragraph. And the reason why I wanted to highlight that line is because I felt like it was a little shady and disingenuous and they need to be called out. So the line says seasoned federal agents and seasoned prosecutors and experienced federal prosecutors. So I think they're trying to say, hey, we got this. We know more than the public that is covering this and trying to make sure justice is reached to the Robinson family. But no. I say seasoned federal investigators in America have a history of disregarding, dismissing, and ignoring the things that happen to Black women. Particularly, the feds have been ignoring that every 5.5 hours epidemic that is TikToking against Black women. So them saying that seasoned federal investigators, it doesn't mean anything because if your seasoning is salty, it doesn't serve the dish. So they may be seasoned when they're looking for JonBenet Ramsey and Gabby Petito, but they never have enough seasoning when they're looking for Black women. And then the other part was seasoned prosecutors, and I beg to differ. And I'm not trying to throw shade, but Mecklenburg County is like Charlotte. It's prosecutors in Atlanta, in New York, in Miami, Los Angeles, in major cities that deal with 10 times the caseload, 10 times the egregiousness. So I don't think you're seasoned. I think you're a big shot in a small town. It's easy to say you're a hot shot in a small town like Charlotte. Charlotte is a growing city, but it's not a huge, metropolis, major city. It's on its way to becoming. So they're saying that they're the best of the best and just trust us. But these are the same seasoned prosecutors and experienced federal investigators who refused and declined to even pay attention to Shanquella's case until it went viral. So now it is them saying they don't have enough evidence to show, the mechanism of injury. But I think even a 10-year-old, if you told them someone got hurt, they passed away and they had bruises all over their body and they had injuries, it would be foul play for them to put in the U.S. reporter. Now what they're saying, the prosecutors, is it was undetermined, the cause of death. That's a cop-out. At the very least, give us the boilerplate, the usual one that they always use, foul play. We suspect foul play. But they didn't even do that. They play on our intelligence and say that they're seasoned prosecutors, but they couldn't figure out how to come up with any other charges to make some punishment, some impunity stick. Because criminality without impunity is a very dangerous society. And I feel like this will set a very dangerous precedent for people who are in relationships and rocky and tumultuous dynamics. You were somewhere in an abusive relationship and, he wants to take you to DR or Mexico or something. And now they know this is an easy avenue to commit a 187 without any type of impunity, without being brought before a jury of their peers across borders in either nation. And for the prosecutors to say that they're seasoned, I throw salt on that seasoning. I beg to differ. Because every prosecutor is not the same. You could be a prosecutor 20 years and only go to trial once a week. So don't let all attorneys fool y'all. Court Chronicles will tell the truth. Every lawyer doesn't go to court every single day. No. So these seasoned prosecutors may be seasoned at small crimes in Charlotte, but not prosecuting international cross-jurisdictional crimes. And instead of saying this is beyond our bandwidth, they say we don't have enough evidence when there is a myriad of evidence. And if anything, the financial crimes are felonious within itself. Just on its face, the sheer amount, the way that they were defrauding the parents and making misrepresentations to extract the funds. So for them to say that, I say it's malarkey. I say malarkey. Like something's not adding up, because for them to go from all of this information presented on social media to having not enough evidence, and what they say is they don't have enough evidence to prosecute this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Again, I feel like when we're dealing with Black people, the media tries to play on our intelligence and they try to say things that are slightly nonsensical because that statement is misleading. Yes, the legal standard in a criminal court of law is you must prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But the operative word in that is in a court of law. So it's not up to the prosecutor to look at his file and say, no, this isn't beyond reasonable doubt, I won't go to trial. No, it's the jury. And think about it, if you ever did jury duty, they always read the charges and say if you found the person, if they presented the case and proved the facts beyond a reasonable doubt, find the person guilty, blah, blah, blah. So it's not, I'm looking at my file, I review it and say this ain't enough, it's not reasonable doubt standard fulfilled. No, that is what the jury is for. As a prosecutor, you package your case, you present the facts. And this had enough circumstantial evidence. So it's not like they had to prove first degree 187, y'all. All they had to prove is the string of financial crimes and also the conspiracy to cover up the truth, to impede the investigation of what really happened. So at this point, we have the feds espousing that the evidence was somehow lacking. But I mean, while we're talking, guys, I enumerated about 7 charges that I think that they would be eligible to press against the Cabo 6. So unfortunately, this isn't the news we wanted. but I know people still are invested in the case, want to know what's going on. So this is the current status as of today. The article said that Shanquella's parents will be giving a press conference. So we will see, just the tonality and everything coming from her parents. And let's just send the family prayers, because it's so much to re-traumatize the family. And some of the coverage on the case was salacious. Some of the coverage was salacious, and so to re-traumatize the parents constantly with this circus is unfair. So I'm hoping the prosecutors will reconsider at least pressing charges for the felonious financial charges, crimes, because there's a string of criminality with the finances that's easy to identify. So hopefully, guys, the Cabo Six will not elude responsibility in this matter, because the evidence is absolutely there. And it is clear they went to great extents based on what everyone saw via social media to conceal the truth of what happened to Shanquella. So y'all, please weigh in. I wanted to just tap in and do a quick live to give you the update. Thank you so much for the patience on the live while I was getting the sound together. I appreciate you guys so much, jury family. As we continue to follow this case, I will be keeping my eye out to see if the White House is going to make any statement. I remember, they made a statement, kind of a blanket statement when it first happened, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything monumental. And I'm not trying to be a provocateur of any sort, but I would like to see some federal response, because if nothing can happen, we need some legislation to make sure when people go abroad, they can't just get murdered without any type of impunity, without any type of culpability being attached to the person. So jury family, y'all, please weigh in. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much again for helping me work my way through the sound. This is just so unfair to Shanquella's family. Just so unfair to her family. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes on the case. It's so disappointing. And it's just, I'm trying not to be personally offended, but for them to say, oh, we're seasoned prosecutors and it's not enough evidence, it's almost like calling all of us unintelligent. Like it's extreme. It's been legal scholars, Nancy Grace, Kourt Chronicles. It's been people all over the world that's covered this and saw several areas of criminality. And they're like, disregard all of that? No, I think the prosecutors in small town North Carolina didn't have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to be able to prosecute a case that involved international criminality. And a lot of times attorneys have big egos. Instead of saying they don't know how to do anything, they will insult your intelligence because they said it's not enough evidence. Y'all, we have a video with this girl being beaten to the Pope in the nude. Her parents gave stories and talked about in their greatest hour of distress how these people were asking the parents for thousands of dollars to be wired. So literally for them to just, slap it out and just say not enough evidence, I feel like they're trying to rewrite history, but this case has such a string of, receipts. It's hard to do that. And I mean, this case is particularly devastating because Shanquella, from all accounts, was a sweetheart. And she even paid for these people to join her on this vacation. And we still haven't heard any reports from Mexico because there's that warrant, and I put air quotes, and it doesn't, I've checked Interpol, email Interpol, no action on this alleged warrant. It doesn't appear that De La Rosa has put any gas on the situation. So literally, we have a situation where this is not justice delayed, this is justice denied. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm just honestly, I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm upset. And also, because over here, the Kourt Chronicles jury family, you guys are so sharp. Y'all send so many amazing receipts, so analytical, insulted that they would dismiss the hard work of everyone who basically brought this case to their attention to say there's not enough evidence and to say that the cause of death is undetermined. So they can't even admit when a Black woman is on that 5.5 hours epidemic situation like Shanquella, that even with bruises, being battered, being beaten, people lying, people denying medical care, that an autopsy will show that there was no foul play. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I am just so saddened. And I had a feeling the way Biden, the White House handled it, the way Roy Cooper, the governor, was like, oh, I didn't really know, just trying to play cavalier. And I mean, it's just like the family doesn't get any peace. Because during this time, the family, whenever it's an investigation, the family's on pins and needles. Because prosecutors may call, request documents, ask for this, ask for cell phone, try to corroborate things. So it's an intense period. Because you're waiting on pins and needles to see how things are going to proceed. Mexico blamed the U.S. The U.S. blamed Mexico. Interpol said call the countries. So everyone dropped the ball. Unbelievable. Shanquella didn't deserve this. All accounts we constantly hear nothing but wonderful things, nothing but kind things about who she was as a person. I'm totally in shock, totally numb, upset, insulted. Like I had to sit here. I read the article and I wrote down so many charges just off the top of my head, guys. I was like, no, there's more than enough evidence. You don't have to charge them for the 187, but you can charge them for all the financial crimes and in every way that they impeded the investigation. And Nancy Grace said she wasn't going to stop. At least a few months ago, she said she wasn't going to stop until some type of justice is attached to this case. And I feel her, like it's not, I don't feel any acrimony, but I do feel a sense of zealousness, like, yo, something needs to be done. This is unacceptable. Sandra asks, can the family file a civil lawsuit? They can file a civil lawsuit. You remember in the O.J. Simpson case, the family, after the criminal trial, they also filed a civil lawsuit, and that's why he was financially incompetent, basically financial purgatory, because he got that $33 million verdict against him in a civil lawsuit for Nicole Brown's family. But even with that, it sounds easier said than done, because on the outside looking in, we're all like, okay, yes, justice, file a lawsuit. But then you have to remember, this is still traumatic. Lawsuits or depositions where lawyers have to kind of ask you invasive questions, make you uncomfortable. It's one of those things where the family may say it's not even worth the stress because they haven't had any peace since this case happened. So it's unbelievable that Black women are unprotected across borders. So that means, look, I'm staying my behind out of Mexico because the U.S. is tripping and you don't have any safety in Mexico either. And I'm really giving a side eye to the Western District of Mecklenburg County in Charlotte, because I'm not trying to say they're bad attorneys, but I'm saying even a blind man can see charges on this case. And meanwhile, the Cabo Six has continued to live their life, go to work, have fun, enjoy without any type of culpability. Not an ounce. The most smoke they got was social media. The most smoke Cabo Six got was social media, and people really bringing the heat. Like, how dare you do that to your friend? And most of them disabled their respective social media accounts thereafter, unless they wanted to get on and pop off and, kind of vent. But even when they spoke out, there was no remorse, no empathy, no tears, no distraught, nothing. It was more attitude. Y'all don't know me like that. It wasn't any type of love, care, concern, like something shocking, life-changing just happened. This was terrible. None of that. I mean, someone said one of the Cabo Six parents had strong political ties. Well, look, the way I see it, politicians aren't above the law, and politicians go to jail too. So I don't even understand why someone would even use their political cachet to protect people like this. I thought when usually when you have political ties, you would think they'll use their strings for good, pull their strings to help, do something that is good to elevate the community, elevate someone who needs it, not help guilty people escape facing justice. Unbelievable. And after all of this, the arrest warrant, extradition, Interpol activity, U.S. investigation, none of these people could figure out any way to charge anyone for anything. And Mexico was a little slack with the warrant. They should have just went forward with the charge. If you have a body, you have a charge, period. So literally in this particular case, hopefully the Cabo Six won't be antagonistic to Shanquella's family. Because just to be all cocky on social media could be traumatizing to the family. This is so heartless. And it's about to be summertime. And Danae in the chat says Deshanae's name was never listed on Interpol. No, it wasn't. And I emailed them and they just sent me like a generic email back, like contact the respective countries. Because I was like, what's taking so long with the processing time? Because Mexico, for several months, only had 2 people listed on the Interpol site, 2 men. Because you can look it up by the country. So we have no justice for Shanquella. This is what we call in law, ladies and gentlemen, a miscarriage of justice. Like I know on TV, they talk about it, they said, but this is real life. This is a miscarriage of justice. When you have irrefutable evidence, when it is clear foul play has absolutely happened. And despite that, the medical examiner in North Carolina could look at a bruised woman's body with all types of lacerations and opine that he can't figure out the cause of death. He can't even say cause of death, suspected foul play, even if he's not going to say homicide. At least can you say foul play, trauma, abuse, being beaten? So all of those things meant nothing to the autopsy reviewer in North Carolina as of recently, and he said now he can't determine how Shanquella passed away, even though we have video footage of her being brutalized. So this seasoned professional is supposed to have us believe that he couldn't identify the mechanism of injury on Shanquella. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I wanted to bring this news to you. I want you guys to be, up to date and aware of what was going on coming out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, North Carolina, excuse me. And multiple sources have reported that U.S. authorities are weak, cowards, and they will not press charges against hardened criminals. So y'all, thank you so much, jury family, for tapping in. That's all I got. I just wanted to come on here and make sure I got this news out about Shanquella. I'll make sure I put the time steps in 24 to 48 hours. Thank y'all so much for helping me get the sound adjusted. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Thank you guys for the positive emails during my sabbatical. Thank y'all so much for all the likes. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel as I cover different topics, different subjects, just all within the legal and social realm of the world. Thank you guys so much for all the support, Kourt Chronicles jury family. I love y'all so much. Please hit the like button. If there is any other news or tea that comes out with the case, I will be sure to tap in with y'all. And y'all, I don't know if y'all can hear, but the lawn people just started back up. So that was like the perfect cue. Thank y'all so much, jury family. Until next time, it has been real. Please, y'all, stay safe, and we will continue to cover the Shanquella Robinson case. Love you, jury family. Please hit the like button on your way out.